Hello everyone, it is the me, Game Penguin 21, and we have hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Oh boy. I gotta say, I don't know how to feel right now, because I'm still kind of taking in the whole fact that I'm now in the bigger leagues than I once was, and that 1,000 people actually wanted to watch this hot garbage that I make. It's real surreal experience right now. Now, there's usually like two videos that I wanted to make in regards to this. One being this video, which is the salt content video that everyone wants me to make or that I had planned for months before this. But also, I wanted to give a good thank you video as well. And I'll probably release that thank you video Saturday as a kind of part 2 and a little more of an update video. But I want to have the celebration today because, quite honestly, I just think it's more fun to talk about stuff like this. With that being said, let's just get started because, quite honestly, I don't need to give any shill bits anymore. And again, other than the fact that I'm releasing my newest album, probably sometimes this week, probably Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. With that being said, let's just get started because there's a lot of comments to go through. Starting, of course, off with one of the more controversial topics that I talked about in one of these videos, saying that you can still be challenged on easy mode and stuff like that. And this is a couple comments on that video talking about the easy mode in Elden Ring, or an easy mode for Elden Ring thing, where someone by the name of Operator8014 says, how about a not garbage mode where there are no iframes and things that can only do damage if they actually make contact? I know it goes against the entire concept of crap souls, but it might make the game a bit more attractive to real people and not just messed out spreadsheet enthusiasts with 30 plus hours a day to spend practicing or participating. I'm very tired. Arbitrarily button timing, or practicing arbitrary button timing. To which I have to say, you clearly don't know what the hell Dark Souls is, and you also clearly don't know anything about game design, because not only is that an absolutely awful idea, but it again, yes, goes against the entire concept and the entire reason for Dark Souls to be existing, and Dark Souls to kind of make it work. And yeah, certainly, maybe iframes to some people are a little bit weird, but they're there to help you. You do realize that the game's balanced in such a way that every little advantage that you have can be made into advantages that you can literally take advantage of in terms of making the game easier for you if you know the button timing, if you understand the build that you're doing, or if you understand how the game mechanics work. Don't you think that's just helpful to anything there? Just, I don't know, makes sense to me if you think about it. Next up here, we have Dude the Mighty saying at 8:16 that they're basically saying that they, with this whole comment, that, and I'm assuming that they're arguing in good faith, and that she's using, and that explaining how when she uses get good, it's more of in the meme sense that people are trying to make fun of her, which, again, I pointed out in the video, if you wanted a better explanation than the one I gave, which I tend to subscribe to, and that is the one that Viva La Dirt League gave, which was, again, one of their Dark Souls logic type of series. It's like their whole logic thing where they apply real-world logic into video game logic. And the whole get good moniker was explained rather poignantly in that video, but to kind of sum it up, the whole get good moniker was viewed by a lot of people as the kind of meme of the Souls-like community, because it's like you can't rely on anything special. And yeah, certainly, that's one of, if not the better things that you can do, and saying like, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstrap might sound like an insult, and in some context it is, but when you apply that actual get good moniker of getting better at the mechanics, getting more agile, and understanding the limitations and the place where your character excels, explained earlier, doesn't that help? Again, I bring this up in another video talking just exclusively about easy mode, but the 3 pillars argument that movement, mechanical understanding, and speed, all 3 of which are in very high demand in Dark Souls, by the way, is very, very important and is very, very good. And again, there are methods and ways around that to kind of just make it easier whenever you actually try to do it. So yeah, it's like assuming like the argument in good faith part as well. I assume that everyone is arguing. I don't assume that everyone is automatically arguing in good faith. I take on every argument as if they are trying to create a point, or that I'm debating with them on air, which is why I tend to try to be as respectful as possible to the people whenever I make these videos. Sometimes, but not all the times. Next up here, we have ISO Verbal QTF, what a very strange name, saying, the fact that you stole this video and copying stuff is ironic. Tell me you don't understand fair use without telling me you don't understand fair use. What's also more funny is the fact that this was actually taken from one of my YouTube shorts that I post. Like, I post a short a day to try to get the 1,000 subscribers, and that's why my numbers are a bit inflated in some cases. But to say that I stole this video when specifically there is a remix button on YouTube, there is a thing called, there's a thing that protects content creators called fair use, and I was utilizing both of those to make that video, shows me that you're wrong. Simple as that. Next up, we have a shitpost central here with, bro, this video didn't need a video. Audio would have been fine. If you're not going to clean up, then you just don't film at all. And look, again, this is from one of my YouTube shorts where I have a messy desk. I don't know what you want from me. The reason why I film it rather than just give audio is to give more of a visual clarification and to kind of direct people's attention to, keep them engaged with the video. I also leave text on the screen. It also adds something to the video and makes my style a bit more unique in that context because, again, it's either do that or, become one of those green screen kids. And I ain't come and be one of those fucking green screen kids. No, sir. Next up, we have people complaining about the digital edition of the Xbox stuff and how apparently Xbox fans complained way more than PlayStation or PC fans, and they have been questioning that why digital edition wasn't made in the first place. And last thing here says, I, for one, have liked to get a cheaper digital edition since I am a real gamer and play on all 5 platforms for games. Gets expensive when you buy every console, every generation, and have the top-end phone and computer to update about the same every 3 to 4 years. And I don't think that you're a real fucking gamer if you are actually saying those sentences unironically. Because here's the thing, saying that you have all 5 platforms, which includes both of the series consoles, as well as the Switch, PlayStation, and PC, like, saying that it gets expensive means that you're only making it more expensive for yourself because you're buying all of these consoles and all of these stuff in the first place. You're basically just dumping your entire thing into a money pit. And that's not the end of the world of, like, me saying that that's bad. You can spend your money however the fuck you want. But you're saying that it gets expensive to buy every console, every generation and stuff. To kind of do the math and to say, like, you have to update to the top-end phone and the top-end computer every 3 to 4 years, you fucking don't at all, because that's not how this works. My personal phone actually is, like, 7 years out of date at this point, but I still use it because the phone is not really necessary. I updated my computer only about a year ago, but that's because I've had other computers that have lasted longer, and I have distinguishedly mentioned that my current laptop that I have still functions even after it's been with me through college and will continue to function into whenever it decides to die on me. What also is funny is that my other computer that was around $500 or around the time of the other consoles, which performed way better than the other consoles, is now currently sitting down the stairs as my mom's work computer. So you don't need to buy the newest stuff every time you need to. Just, upgrade stuff slowly over time and save your money for better things. Now, this next comment from Dragon Gamer of you can find port crystals in-game and send them to the teleport to the fairy stones is a comment in response to, of course, the Dragon's Dogma 2 debate that happened when that was a big thing. Now, obviously, I don't want to reiterate a bunch of the points, but to basically sum this point down, I wasn't upset that you could find the in-game things. I was upset and criticizing the fact that you were actually charged almost as much of the base game's prices to get extra stuff that you can get in-game for a mostly single-player experience. I wasn't excusing anything else of that. I think that I even mentioned things like Far Cry and things like Call of Duty, where the DLC tended to outnumber the base points of the base price of the game. So obviously, yeah, I'm not complaining and saying that, oh, you can't find these things in game and it just looks like that. It's like, no, I'm complaining the fact that they're basically taking mechanics and stuff in game, putting them into DLC, optional DLC for sure, but putting them in such a way where day one buying all of that costs you more. It's like, again, how is it stupid to say, hey, I don't like this practice of trying to take out mechanics or trying to put game mechanics in that you have to pay for? Like, that just to me is like stupid to say that that's stupid, to say anything else. Next up here, we have this comment talking under a JTech video about Helldivers, and he says that, okay, first of all, and Victor Calls says, okay, first of all, Helldivers is not a Call of Duty analog, and second of all, the finals is woke garbage, so honestly, your whole point is moot. Now, to say that Helldivers is not a Call of Duty analog is mostly correct. I'm not sure if I specifically said that they were about the same thing, or I'm unsure if I did or if JTech did. But to me, Helldivers is one of those things where it's a very popular game, and saying that it's not a Call of Duty analog because it didn't either sell as well as Call of Duty or it's not the same genre as Call of Duty kind of misses the point. The point being that PlayStation, back in the day when there was the Activision Blizzard deal, said that they couldn't make a good enough game to combat Call of Duty, which is mostly true, but with Helldivers, they actually had, a contender for that experience. They had a contender to actively replace at least a portion of that Call of Duty money and get 100% of the profit, but they ended up fucking it up and, later down the line, obviously. But yeah, I wanted to highlight this comment more because the second part is the finals is woke garbage. How is my biggest question, and evidence. The only evidence that I can even remotely think of is the fact that the characters aren't beautiful hot models. And if you understood the lore of the finals, which is these are basically just Joe Schmoes kind of participating in the actual game they're playing, and again, this finals says woke garbage has only gotten worse over time because now you can play as a crash test dummy, as a walking billboard, and now as an anime character in the latest season. The finals being woke garbage means that you would not be able to play, means that you would have less diversity, or you would, well, maybe not less diversity, but you'd have more of the initiative of other it's very strange that you even considered that to be a thing, and saying and then saying, oh well, they have different body types that is not like regular things. Yeah, the different body types have a mechanical advantage and disadvantage over other bodies in the game because that's how the game functions, the bigger, heavier character moves slower, but also has a lot more health. The medium character is meant to be more quicker, but also has certain abilities that is tied to it. And the small character is the most quickest, but has the least amount of health. So, there's a reason for it mechanically why those body types exist in the game, which, doesn't make it woke garbage. It just makes it a very good, well-designed game. Next up here, we have a comment thread by SK Lickton about saying that you should have proof and that to prove them wrong. And he says that he's not even slightly joking about this specific comment. To kind of go off specifically as to what he is talking about, I ended up making a video talking about, ended up making a shorts video on talking about how War Thunder, the War Thunder community has more than once actually leaked government documents of actual tanks and things like that in lore-wise. And this guy is trying to defend that, saying, hey, if you have the evidence, you should use the evidence. And while I agree, for the most part, if it leaks government or protected documents, i.e. medical documents, i.e. governmental documents that probably shouldn't be on the internet, which include things like manuals and things like that, which are not technically classified, but are classified enough to where if the enemy got them, in terms of intelligence, would be able to more easily take down, say, a plane or a helicopter or a tank in that context. Don't you think that's a little bit extreme to kind of try and win some sort of Twitter argument or a comment section YouTube argument for no other reason? And due to the fact that at the time, and still kind of going on, the War Thunder devs themselves said, hey, don't fucking send us government documents. It is uber illegal to even possess them outside of the training regiments. Like, it is no joke. You will literally become, like, I don't know if you'll be wanted, but you will be severely disciplined in the army if you were to leak those fucking documents. It's wild to me. It's like, that's literally, they couldn't make a joke about it anymore. It got that bad. So, yes, if you have the evidence, use it. But don't try to use it to win not only a pointless argument, but also use it in a way that can help make a person understand your point better. If you can't explain it without having to resort to those types of tactics, it might have been a bad point and you might not understand it. Again, very much like leaps in logic has to be made with that. Next up here, we have Michael, and to be fair, I'm not going to go and read through all of his comments here, but he basically is a PlayStation fanboy who decided to comment on a couple of my videos, talking about how Trashbox, or in this case, Xboxes, which he's talking about, is in last place and will be forever pathetic because of those things. I don't need to go over this because, quite honestly, there is no point to talking about these types of comments, as I don't receive them that often, but I just really find it funny how a lot of times when I make videos, I'm kind of begging for people to come to my comments to be very decisive and very controversial and stuff like that. But the fact that I've only had like 1 or 2 people, including this person by the name of Country Lamore, who has the Sony Pony thing saying that they're very pathetic, and I agree that both are actually pathetic, but it's really funny to me how I actively go out to search for these types of fanboys, and yet one of them just kind of dropped himself into my lap, and I've just been kind of sitting on his comments. So I find it really funny. Next up with the series of comments, we have a man, the myth, the legend himself, Kabulo76. Now, Kabulo himself was a pretty famous person, at least on the Sneaky Cacti channel, and he decided to come over to my channel to do some actual commenting on my YouTube videos, which I find really fucking hilarious. If you are watching this, Kabulo, hello, I love you for the content engagement because I get to make fun of you and also talk about, some very stupid points that you have made. Now, this, of course, all started with me poking the bear because, obviously speaking, I was making more of a joke than anything, but leading to this actual comment chain was really funny, and reading through it was actually fucking hilarious. I basically just said on one of his videos that he was talking about Kabula, saying, hey, I would love to see that engagement on my channel if you were to come over and comment on it. He then says he takes a look at my channel, and it may be even worse, having more autism, which seems to be one of his favorite words, and how it runs very powerfully in him, and separated him, and he thought I was separated with the twin at birth, which, if I'm remembering correctly, Sneaky Cacti is from, like, Canada, and I am from the Americans, so it's like, I don't remember specifically where Sneaky is from. I don't know if it's Canada. I just know that it's not in the country that I was born in. He then comes over to my channel and talks about how he says, I don't work with 40 views, and has a bunch of laughing, crying emojis. Really, really well done stuff there. He then comes over with another comment talking about how he's asking what he wanted to tell me, or did I become a coward and forget? And no, I didn't forget. It's just that I'm not watching my actual fucking comment section for people like you, and when you do respond, it's just fun to me to respond whenever I get the chance to. I mean, there's sometimes when I do argue in my own comment section, but that's only for, like, one particular video, which we will kind of get into. Next up here, Kabul also says that I am an artist, which, yes, I am an artist. I do graphic design professionally, technically, as I have worked with actual businesses or small businesses to help with specific interests in stuff. And I also do video editing and stuff on the side, most of which seems to be volunteer work, but I do actually get paid for some of those stuff. He then also came back talking more and more crap. I really don't need to kind of put this off any longer. It's just like you can kind of get the idea. Next up here, we have a few comments from a Synthetic Man video that I talked about, where one person by the name of The Giver says synth will save us from the woke hive mind, and I politely asked him, maybe you should stop watching him. He says, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, and you are the exact reason why he still has an audience, because, you know, it's really dumb. But then there's also this whole comment by Jack Tirio that I am not going to go over, because quite honestly, it basically just boils down to the most kindergarten online centric insult you could possibly ever imagine. Literally everything is here. Talking about how everything's woke, how I'm on my father's computer, how I am a little kid, and how I am not good at what I do because, again, for the DEI initiatives and everything like that. Look, I'm not saying that there isn't DEI and stuff. I'm just saying that people like Synthetic Man and people like Andrew Tate and those kinds of anti-woke people, they're essentially grifters. They're essentially people who might not demand your money, but they demand something even more impressive, and that being they demand your attention. Your attention equals money in their pockets, which then fuels their ego to want to demand more attention. It's a kind of feedback loop that essentially means that so long as you give them attention, they will make money regardless of whether or not they ask for it. It's kind of how it works. I got into a big-ass debate with someone about this, where we were just sending essays back and forth about it, saying, oh, you don't have an argument because he's actually not a grifter and he's actually not woke. Despite the fact that I actually gave him other people who don't demand your money, but are also grifters under that same thing because they are stealing people's money. Like, you get how that makes sense, right? How people, again, like Andrew Tate, he brags about all of the fucking money that he has. He brags about all of the bitches and hoes that he has and all the girlfriends that he's had, right? He never demands for your money. And yet, he has a program that says, hey, I can help you make money and become an online person using your own stuff. You just have to pay me a couple $1,000s. How is that not grifting? How is that not grifting? Like, explain that to me. It doesn't make any sense. But obviously, yes, I stand by what I said in that video in saying that Synthetic Man is very, very dangerous to the platform that he currently sits on because of his viewpoints, in my personal opinion. And if he can give his opinion on games and stuff, then, of course, I can give my opinion and criticize him that severely. And I think finally we'll end it off with this comment that I got a while back talking about how he says, I have no idea why YouTube recommended me your channel. But after taking a quick look at it, I feel like I need to say the following. Stop giving so much attention to random people on the internet. It is really worth the time. Is it really worth the time and energy, investment, making content, bitching about random people, bitching about video games? To which I say, yes, it is very much worth my time. I don't have much else things better to do. And yeah, it is worth my time to invest in the content because I'm actually growing from giving my own opinion on this. Why do I give these people the time of day? Well, why do other commentary people give the same things for those same times of day? You do realize that I'm not the only one in this gaming commentary niche. I'm not the only one talking about these dumbasses on Twitter and these dumbasses on other stuff. If you don't like my content, that's fine. That's your own opinion, and you can go on your merry way. The reason why YouTube recommended the channel to you is because you were watching a lot of similar content under the topics of video game content creators and video game commentary type channels, because that's how YouTube obviously fucking works. The fact that you decided to leave a comment saying, stop giving attention to these random people on the internet, they're not random people. Some of these people are actually big deals in at least their own spaces, and talking about them and giving my own opinion on them should let those people know and give more information out there, because I can provide information and other stuff, other insights that maybe other people might not know about. For example, I know a lot about the history of video games and the history of specifically video game marketing, because again, I have a marketing degree and I also have a graphic design degree and also several other things which I continuously bring up in videos. All of this to say, why give these people more attention is that I'm not technically giving them attention. I'm basically shining a light on their views and saying, hey, here's why they're wrong. And what's more interesting is that I'm not taking attention on them, I'm taking attention away from them. Because if a person watches my video and doesn't watch their video, guess what? Since I use since I use a lot of the video and I've been doing a lot more tweets and stuff, this means that they are watching my content and that I can continue to grow and get more eyeballs on my content because of this whole, bitching about video games. I am very passionate about video games. I am very passionate about the hobbies that I invest my time in. I am very passionate about this channel. Hence why I have now hit 1,000 subscribers and will continue to try to strive to get better and more subscribers, because quite honestly, I really adore what it is that I do, and it's just fun to me. And that's really kind of the whole emphasis and the whole thing with this video. I never try to breathe hate into something. I always try to come at it from a standpoint of very neutral, from a standpoint of someone who just wants to get an interesting idea out into the world. And I don't actively go out and hunt some of these people down to say, hey, cancel this person on Twitter. I really don't. While I may be someone who might be considered a controversial figure, I do think that the reason that talking about people with these types of views makes it so that way people with those types of views dwindle not only in popularity, in influence, but also dwindle in number. Because pointing out the hypocrisy of some of these might, in some cases, not all, but in some cases, help people to realize how stupid those arguments are and become a better debater in the process. Overall, you might think of me as being like, oh, you're going to be playing the high horse route, and that's your whole blah, blah, blah point, and you're just absolutely dick riding or being this. Look, I try not to insult people, and I try to come at them from a more neutral standpoint, even for my haters, because everyone is a human, and everyone deserves a chance to at least speak their mind, including myself. If I critique you, there might be a problem with your argument. But with that being said, I think that'll about do it. This is going to be one of those long-ass videos that I'm talking about here. Oh boy, what a Wednesday video to make. But to be quite honest, I don't have much else to say other than the fact of thank you so much for watching this channel to make it to 1,000 subscribers. Whether you're the first subscriber, whether you're the 1,000th subscriber, you're all special to me, and I'm glad that I can make even just the small community that I have talking about something that I'm passionate in, talking about my hobbies, talking about and using my knowledge to maybe make some people a little bit smarter and a little bit more tentative whenever they try to debate someone online. You're all amazing. You all deserve to have a great life. My name is GamePenguin21. Thank you so much again for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching this video. And I will continue to make stuff in the future. And a peace. Off.